Hi all. So today we are going to learn how to scrape PDFs embedded in a particular URL. And also towards the end of the session, we'll learn how to pick a particular table in the downloaded PDFs and store it in a structured format like a CSV file. So let's jump straight into the code and see what we have in store ahead first. So let me first import all the required libraries. So for parsing the URL, which is going to be the house of PDFs which we are going to download. We are making use of Beautiful Soup, and for the next part of the session where we are going to convert one of the tables in the PDF to a CSV file, we are going to use a library called the Tabula. So once the libraries are imported, let me just mount on my Google Drive over here, where I'm creating the directory or the folder to store the downloaded PDF files. And the in case if people are using it on their local systems, you can avoid this particular step. And once this is done, so let's check the URL from which where we are going to download the different PDFs from. So for this session, I had picked the URL premierleague.com/publications. Let me open this particular URL and show you guys what is there. So this is the URL. It's about the English Premier League, where they generate their publications every year. For example, in the URL we had specified for this session, as you can see in the handbooks, we have different handbooks. For example, the Premier League handbook 2021-22, which is downloadable as a PDF. And for Premier League 2, we have a PDF. For under 18s, we have a PDF. So, and for fixtures, what's the schedule for this particular year's particular season's matches? We have a PDF. So we have close to 25 to 30 odd PDFs in this URL. So let us see how we can download this PDFs which are present in this URL into our system. So I have specified a folder location. Essentially, this location will access the house to download all the PDFs. I had created a folder by the name Premier League. So in case if this folder location is not existing, we can create one. So once the initial steps are taken care of, let us jump straight into the code where we are actually downloading the PDFs. So essentially, the URL which we are going to pass through, we kind of use the Beautiful Soup's HTML parser, where for that particular URL text we are passing, and we are saving it as an object in Soup. So once this step is done, what we are doing is for each of the link which is specified in this Soup, we are extracting the href anchor tags ending only with PDF. So once those links are taken care of, we are creating a file name with the exact PDF names which are present in the URL which is specified. So let me show an example here. So the href link, the link href which we have specified here, we are using a split function to get the exact PDF file name. So as seen here from the Premier League URL which we have specified. So this is the kind of document entire link which is passed through. So we are splitting with a forward slash, and the -1 specifies the last content which has to be picked after the last forward slash. So as seen, the file name which we are creating is 2011-12 Premier League season review PDF. So once this is done, with that file name, the corresponding link, whatever content it is hosting, we are writing to that file as the PDF. So in this way, what happens is, in my location of Premier League, all the PDFs which are available in the URL are stored. Let me open that folder. So as seen here, all the PDFs from this particular URL are being downloaded here. So this is the first step where we kind of had access to a URL, and using Beautiful Soup, we downloaded all the PDFs which are available in that particular URL. So now let's jump to next section where we try to create or store a table which is present in the downloaded PDF into a CSV file, more structured format. So as mentioned at the start of the session, we are going to use the library Tabula. So Tabula is a simple, similar to Pandas read underscore CSV. Tabula has something called the read underscore PDF. And I had picked the file. This is PL interactive combine.pdf. Let me show what the file has. So essentially, this is the file which I'm going to pick a table from this particular file and store it as a CSV table. So as seen here, so this is a file which is having close to about 19 pages. Let me jump straight to page number 18. So the page number 18 has this final standings of each of the teams position at the end of the season. So let me see, or let us try how to extract this particular table from this page. So this is page number 18 in this PDF file. So what I have done is I had passed the parameter pages is equal to 18 for the tabula read PDF and passed that file name. So, and I'm trying to store it into a data frame. So the moment I'm storing it and I'm trying to print it as seen, uh, it did convert it into a tabular format, but unfortunately, we are getting additional content as well. So as seen here, for example, the amount the Premier League invests per season in the development, blah, 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 essentially is picked from this part of the section, which kind of looks like one more table in the eyes of Tabula. The reason may be because of the page layout itself, where we are having a kind of landscape. So as a result, each of this section is considered as a table by Tabula. And as seen here, the amount the Premier League invests per season, this is picked as the tabular format. So to overcome this, Tableau also provides us with one more parameter where we can specify which area of that particular page has to be considered to pull the table from. So, so let's try that out. So now I'm importing one more function called convert into. So what convert into essentially does is the PDF, once the table is extracted, we can convert it to a CSV directly. So as seen here, I'm using convert into, and I'm picking the same file which I had showcased, and I'm creating a new CSV file called table underscore output. And the output format is CSV, and the pages is 18, which I showcased. And I'm specifying an area within the page where this particular table is located. And once this is done, essentially what it does is it will pick that particular area, it will pick the table and store it in this particular file. And once this is done, let me open that particular CSV file, which is stored in the location. And this is the final output, a more expected kind of output from the table which we had showcased here. We identify or we observe that we do have a NaN column, and there is something 125 ERYSA in the table which we picked in. So let's jump back. What exactly this is? What exactly is this? So essentially, it is the logos of each of the clubs which is not picked up, which makes sense as well. And this 125, this part of the section is essentially for this club called Newcastle United. What happened is they do have their 125 years under the logo, which is treated as a text, and it tried to read that. So, so this is how we kind of download PDFs from a given URL, and using Tabula, we can read each of the PDF and maybe pick the tables. If as if pages is specified as 18, it will go for the 18th page particularly. And if you want to download all the tables in the PDF, we can give pages is equal to all as a metric. So that's the end of the session. Thank you.